Anita Shah, Lakyary. So, Miss Anita, very warm welcome to APOES 3.0. Before I move on and give the virtual podium to Miss Anita, I'm going to share with you a little introduction, which will be, very useful to all of you to get to know your presenter. So Miss Anita Shah Lakyary is a writer and development professional. She specializes in corporate social responsibility. She's also, has worked as in the school and university setups as teacher and head of an NGO. She also worked for restoration of education in the government schools in Hyderabad district through regular monitoring of schools, besides conducting teacher and head training and motivation sessions. She is an award-winning writer and an advocate of children's education and empowerment of young people through entrepreneurship. She has served in different government departments as well as several national and international nonprofit organizations and media institutions. In recognition of her services, she has been awarded the Hubert Humphrey Fellowship on a Fulbright Scholarship and Charles Wallace Fellowship as well. She has been recognized as an exemplary leader from South Asia due to her struggle for uplifting the lives of rural people. Ms. Anita had been with us in the last APOES sessions as well, and this time she has graciously accepted our invitation. So over to you, Ms. Anita, and we would like to hear a lot from you. Ms. Anita, your mic is off. Can you please switch it on? Your mic, Ms. Anita.
Can I be heard now? Sure.
Yes,
sure.
it's absolutely fine. Thank you.
Actually, I'd like to talk about education in a changing world. Since we know that with the pace of time, education has become more digital, and emphasis is placed on the policy, on the need for policy to better understand and reflect how the education system and labor market interact to prepare learners for employment. Demand for a skilled labor force has increased more than ever before in human history. The skills for newer employees must be smart enough to take them out of the circle of poverty. They must be able to attract the opportunities the world has to offer, and they must cash their skills in the world. The skilled workers must take advantage of the technological advances and collective impact of globalization. The reform is seen as involving a shift in education systems from traditional rigid organization to more open, flexible, and learner-centered systems that deliver skills and capacity development opportunities to individuals at all stages of their lives. The information revolution, globalization, and labor market have affected the world economy. Demand for skilled labor has increased. World trade and migration have swollen. Several developed countries have now gone through demographic transition. By one estimate of reading and maths skill, an average in a low-income country score worse 8% of the student in countries where per capita income is higher. learning about and learning to be continually learn about computing skills, how to think, inquire, and how to ethically engage with different communities and human geographies. Another recommendation would be to nurture a learning process in which theory and practice go hand in hand. And however, assessing this balance is difficult. Asking students to keep a portfolio of their work can help assess on a case-by-case basis how students balance theory and practice fully, and how this balance contributes through their learning process, and how well they are able to learn. Another recommendation would be to include the students' projects, workshops, and friendship seminars as important to reflect on modern phenomena and broaden students' understanding. Similarly, workshops can be great for teaching and research, for present a space where teaching is regarded not as a function but as a context in which teachers participate with their own expertise and knowledge. Another recommendation would be to include yet another recommendation would be to do ground teaching and learning in place every day. I would say a sense of grounding critical to digital living. Whenever possible, teaching and learning should be brought outside of work labs into public spaces and embedded labs. There is an active but hopefully representative summary of many indications received and are need to think education in the changing world. But experimentation would be moved towards the newer digital living. Many 21st century skills have been identified as important, but some are especially crucial in preparing the students for a future of artificial intelligence and complex change, which brings education for the students that will lead to policy and innovation around new approaches to learning, which helps young people in classrooms today. They would love their skills. They need to shape their future. In this collection, why thinking skills are important for students learning and their success in a changing world. The education for a changing world in building the case would change, centered around the issue of preparing the students for the digital future. We are continuing to research and speak to experts how we might prepare the next generation to go to work with additional intelligence And what skills do their mindsets and knowledge will be essential for our children to know, and how do we instill them with these capabilities? Applied learning is continued uh, in research and endure extending with many definitions and approaches. Applied learning uses knowledge and skills to solve real world problems. Students who engage in applied learning can demonstrate mastery of skills in new ways and gain practical application of new skills and knowledge, plus job applied learning can be integrated into existing subjects and extracurricular activities. Education in a changing world includes flexibility, skills, and employability. Is the work of the information revolution and other changes in labor markets. Building a flexible education system, developing and upgrading needed skills, and enhancing employability. A flexible system is seen as being looked for, required to do small to changing circumstances. Learners with the knowledge and skills they require, where and when this is convenient, hence enabling all learners to maximize their capacities at all stages of life. The perspective of group of providing the updated quality learning and reply for individual to actively participate in the economy, please, which could enhance employability. Meanwhile, is seen as key in terms of the importance of arranging learners and workers, the words of the linking employment with learning. There is need to prepare people with higher order skill. Do this one to changing economy requirements, the necessity of training my many ranges of workers and their children, along with the losing strategies for skills development in developing countries. School leaders have the skills, knowledge, and support to best prepare students for lifelong engagement with learning, which may drop the education system and develop innovative approaches to learning and education for a changing world. It helps to shape and shape education directions by bringing high quality thinking inside and evidence to solve challenges. Not only they bring evidence of what is known, but also exploring cutting edge ideas and how they work and practice, as well as focusing on innovation and reforms connected to 21st century. Learning and thinking skills, education for a changing world works with the partners to help solve other emerging educational challenges that need innovation, innovative solutions. Many 21st century thinking skills have been identified as important, but some are especially critical in preparing the students for a future of artificial intelligence and complex global change. The Education for a Changing World initiative is building the case for change, central around the issue of preparing students for a digital future. We are continuing to research and speak to experts about how we might prepare the next generation for a world with artificial intelligence, and how do we instill them with instability. This was my presentation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Anita, for your presentation and sharing with us your vision about the changing world with respect to education. We have a number of questions for you, and my first question is it is from my side. Since you have envisioned a future that is skillful, that is effective for young people to grow in a professional environment, are there any measures, productive measures or actions you have taken during these last 2 years, which you think are impactful in materializing your vision?
Yeah, Dr. Nadia, I'd like to say that the first thing that we should do is increasing the understanding of children for digitalization and artificial intelligence, because during my research I came to learn that world is going towards artificial intelligence, and more digitalization is involved than ever before in our history. So I think we should prepare our children for this bringing artificial intelligence, and also engaging more with digitalization.
Okay, so you think that a good or promising or safe future depends upon our gaining and acquiring new skills and digital skills, especially, which are inevitable for survival. But since you belong to Karachi and of course the province is Sindh, so I was wondering, because we keep on reading about the different educational conditions of different provinces. And we are being told that in some of the cities in Sindh, it's very difficult to get even education, let alone digital education. So are there any actions being taken in this regard?
For instance, I live in Karachi, so my children I have 2 children, and both of them go to the best in Karachi. But the thing is, in rest of the places outside Karachi, there is no system for making children learn digitalization, or in many schools there are no computer labs, and also in many schools, government schools in Sindh, there are no libraries where children would go to read or write or use internet for their betterment. Or so the situation in outside Karachi in government schools is very horrible, I would honestly say, because I for more than for around 2 years I worked for Hyderabad division, and I trained the teachers and head teachers, and we did many things, but I did not see the change that I would have wished to see in the government schools. This is a very unfortunate uh, incident of my life.
Yes, indeed, I can understand that when you have given so much of your energy and input into something, but there aren't any results. But if you feel that continuously the results refuse to come out, then is there any chance of changing the strategy?
I would say that I used to work in a government office in Hyderabad, where there was not a single washroom for the ladies of the entire building. It was a Sindh Public Service Commission where I used to work where I worked for 4 years. But then what I see as a result of my humble suggestion would be to include libraries, computer laboratories, and internet connection for all the schools, especially the government schools.
Yes.
Where, I'm to be honest, I don't see the interest of government in uplifting the schools at all. And this is very, very unfortunate that government is not involved with the upliftment of the schools, with the
Yes.
upliftment of the government schools. Yeah.
Yes, you're very right, because primary education and school education is considered the backbone of any society and for future development of any country. And if that is not being taken care of, then the whole building is expected to crumble down. We have one more question that is about what should we do to ensure that education is of good quality, especially in the context in which you work.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I would say that I would state the same thing that I stated already, that the government schools should be provided with libraries and extensive amount of or the number of books within the libraries, and then they should be provided with computer laboratories and internet connection. It's though I worked for 2 years in the government schools, and I tried my best to improve the situation in the government schools, but to be honest, my hard work did not produce any results. Yeah.
Well, Miss Anita, you might be saying that, but I am positive that whatever you have done might have inspired a few among those people and might have created some kind of transformation or perhaps ignition of something that may actually produce results in future. So with hopes that whatever you do or whatever you envision and how you dream about the education system and its improvement, it comes true. But of course, it's a gradual process and we should never let our hearts be, get burdened by the pressure of non-availability of sources, and unresponsive attitude of different government bodies. But with hopes and dreams that your vision comes true, let's all vouch for, or let's actually take a promise that we'll all work for a good changing future of this country and the world. Thank you very much for being here and becoming a part of APOES 3. So I sign off here now and I say goodbye to you and a very good evening. So over to you, Mr. Syed Murtaza.
Sure. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Sure. Thanks once again. And I was really enjoying listening to Dr. Anita Shah. I think since last APOES, this is the
At all. I'm not. I'm not.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it. But it was wonderful listening to you. It's very informative, very insightful. And thank you so much once again for being a part of this summit.